I've seen governments overperform. It can be done. And, if we look in the region, there are countries around here who are doing very well, moving up in competitiveness scale, in GDP per capita. And if we go in and study what made a difference, How do they do this? Just like in South Korea, province. Ambitious goals, but also an agenda for how to achieve them. So it's not just having a vision, but actually having plans and actions of how to achieve it. They use measurements. Typically, balanced scorecard. They communicate to their employees. So every employee understands what the mission and the objectives of their agency and their ministry is, and how they're coming to work each day, they can make a difference. And they provide the employees with the resources that are, the training and the resources required to deliver on the strategy and achieve those objectives. So, it's not magic. We actually know how to do this. We didn't know this 20 years ago, but we know it now. So, some examples. This is a strategy map for an economic development agency in the United States. Red, white, and blue. This ministry is there to encourage investment in our low income and high unemployment regions, such as West Virginia and Mississippi. These are, how do we help those regions that are like the province in South Korea? And so who is the stakeholder? They serve the government. They say the taxpayer, the executive branch. And they want to have a big impact on distressed communities and advance the administration's economic growth agenda. And the customer is actually most important. What we're trying to do in those regions is skill, high-wage jobs. Provide information and technical assistance. They're actually partnering with the private sector. They're encouraging the private sector to build distribution facilities, manufacturing plants in these distressed parts of the United States. And so how do they leverage government funding with private funding, and they're accountable for that. What are the processes, leadership and policy? What are the actions we take that will have the biggest impact on economic development? Where are our investments going to have the biggest impact? And how do we improve our internal organizational performance? And so these are the objectives on the strategy map, and every objective has one or more measures. I'm not testing you on this, but I just want to show that the word statements on the strategy map can be translated into key indicators, key performance indicators that that agency is now accountable for delivering, and helps it drive the strategy throughout the organization. So this is what I hope you'll be doing. And maybe since you're a training organization, you'll not only do it for yourself, but maybe you'll teach all the other agencies how to do it. This is a strategy map for the Saudi Arabia, KSA, Kingdom of Arabia, their labor ministry, about how do we improve the training, not of civil service workers, but of the young people, the youth in Saudi Arabia. Very, very high unemployment rate of the Saudi Arabia youth. It's really a very incendiary situation. And at high level, we're going to contribute to the economic and social development of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, primarily develop a highly demanded national workforce, big theme here, and promote sustainable employment. So employment, good jobs, long-term in profitable growth industries. And who are the customers? And they think, well, we have two customers. One customer is the young person seeking a job, a Saudi job seeker. The other customer are the corporations. We want to encourage private corporations, and they need employees. And so part of our role in the training ministry is to create a much more highly skilled, educated workforce relevant for 21st century corporations. So they have two different customers, and then you can see we write the customer objective through the voice of the customer. Give me access to high quality training to enhance my employment and productivity. We want our customer to be saying, give me that training. Become our source for hiring high quality talent. This is what the corporations are saying. So we can write our customer, citizen objectives through the voice of the customer. And those are all measurable. We can get measures for that. And then you go into the details of critical processes, and then what skills and capabilities does this agency need in order to deliver on its mission and the value to its customers. So kind of a very nice strategy map. I mean, there's a lot of words there, but to the people in this agency, it means a lot. One of the great cities in the world, Joan Cabezas from Palladium, is a resident of Barcelona, and Barcelona wants to be the #1 city in Europe to work in, to live, and take recreation. And I think they started this shortly after the Summer Olympics in the 1990s. So they had built all this infrastructure for the Summer Olympics. Greece, they built all the infrastructure and then they just let it crumble. Didn't get any benefit. Barcelona says, now we have all this infrastructure, how can we use it to create one of the best cities in the world? And they worked together and they created a high-level balanced scorecard for the city, what its priorities, best city to live, work, and take recreation. And they drive it down to each one of its functions, what they call a sector, police department, the fire department, transportation, planning. So every one of those sectors has a balanced scorecard, and every one of the districts has a scorecard. Not the same scorecard. Some district is the commercial district, another one is the commercial district, another is the autistic district, or many are residential. So they have different objectives depending on the district. So each district has a deputy mayor, and they create their own balanced scorecard consistent with the overall city vision. And at the end of the day, the mayor, the city manager, has this holistic view of everything that's happening in the city. And he can see how the city is performing. He can see how each of his major functions, departments is performing, how each of the regions in the city is performing. Each sector or district has its own balanced scorecard. They can see how they're performing. They get feedback. And the finance function sees where should we be allocating our resources? What are the major projects that we should be doing in order to help each sector, each district, and the city as a whole achieve its objectives? So a very highly integrated plan for executing a strategy to become a world-class city. And the question is, what difference did it make? Well, it was named best city in Europe in the quality of life and ease of establishing a business, in the top 10 in all of Europe. Public debt has decreased. That's a novel thing for a government. New businesses are coming in. Tax revenues are going up with tax rates not increasing. Just as you have more economic development, taxes just increase. And as businesses come in, taxes will increase without having high tax rates. Transportation improves. You can just see better trained employees. So great Hall of Fame performance in the public sector. So summary, and now I haven't gotten to shared value yet. We can't create shared value if we don't create specific value in our ministry. So the first thing we need to do is deliver well within our ministry. What's the value here is, first, just creating the strategy map and balanced scorecard for a ministry or for an agency gets people in the same room talking about what are our objectives? How are we going to make a difference in the lives of Indonesian citizens? What can we do to have an impact? What are the priority areas? And going through and translating and answering those questions through a strategy map and balanced scorecard, builds consensus and commitment among that executive team.